Hello and shalom, everyone. This is Mayim Vega. Welcome again to the Arukah Holistic Podcast. And today we have a very special guest joining us, Hadassah Bauer, my dear friend. She is a certified life coach, speaker, and author from Dallas, Texas. But I knew her before that. And her passion is for supporting individuals touched by adoption. As a devoted wife and mother of seven, she brings a unique blend of compassion and experience to her work. What's truly remarkable about Hadassah's journey is that she's an adoptee herself, and she has become a guiding light for those navigating the complexities of adoption. Her expertise in addressing the core issues of abandonment, loss, grief, and rejection makes her an invaluable resource for adoptees, birth mothers, and adoptive parents. And we'll be diving into some of the most common misconceptions about adoption, the challenges adoptees face, and her insights on how to guide them through these deeply emotional experiences. Hadassah also focuses on the seven core issues of adoption, which we'll discuss in detail. So stay tuned for an inspiring conversation. Hello and shalom, Hadassah.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. How's your morning? How's your morning been so far?
Great, thank you.
So I love what you do. And actually, when I first met you, I know that you had a different, background before. How did you come to doing what you are doing right now?
Well, I'm an adoptee, like you said, and several years ago, I decided to be a life coach. And in the process of becoming a life coach, you really coach yourself. And you have lots of opportunities of being coached by other students and teachers. And through that, I realized that I had a lot of ingrained issues from being adopted and that it was really affecting my relationships, how I viewed myself, and many other things. And as I started to heal and learn new modalities of healing, I realized that I wasn't alone. It wasn't just me. It's the seven issues of all adoptees. We all share them. And I just started reaching out to other adoptees. I am now the facilitator of Adoptees Connect here in Dallas, which is like a monthly meeting for adoptees. And it just kind of snowballed. My coaching became more directed towards adoptees, birth mothers, and adoptive parents. And I just realized what a value coaching was for the adopted triad.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. What's interesting is that I've known you for a while, but I never knew that you were an adoptee until you started doing this. And so now I have a lot of things to connect with you because I don't know if you know, but I have seven children of my own, and we didn't adopt, but we kind of inherited two adopted children that my mother-in-law, she adopted them, but she did it in her old age. And so she was not able to, properly just give them everything that they needed. So we
Mhm.
agreed to take care of them, after she passed away. She's still alive, but we just felt like we should start helping her now. So we're
Mhm.
taking care of them, basically full time. But she lives next door, so it's great because they could visit her anytime, and they do. So it's really, really wonderful.
Yes,
Um,
I didn't know that.
yeah, both learned something new about each other.
Yes.
So, what is a misconception or some misconceptions about adoption?
Well, I think there's many, but one of the main things is that adoptees are blank slates or babies are blank slates. And, science has caught up to that. We know right now that babies do bond with the mother in utero, that a baby will know the mother's heartbeat, respiration, and even the sound of her voice at the time of birth. And so when we take the baby, newborn, especially away from its mother, that is breaking a bond that's already occurred. So when we tell these adoptive parents that you're getting a blank slate and all that baby is going to need is love, that's not necessarily true. You can come from the most loving home. I know I did. My parents loved me, still do so much, and wanted children. They did a great job, but that didn't change the fact that I had this trauma, this pre-verbal trauma that occurred at the separation from my birth mother. And I just think that we don't do adoptive parents service by telling them that this is a blank slate, that this child just is going to need love, because they might need a lot more than that.
Okay, that's interesting. So, in your experience, what are some of the most, maybe like the most common challenges that adoptees face, and how do you help guide people through these issues?
Right. So, like, one of the main things is identity issues. A lot of adoptees, especially when they get to be teenagers, really start to struggle with who am I? Even more so if the adoptee happens to be transracial adoption or transcountry adoption. They've lost so much. They've lost their heritage, their birth family, their identity as whatever race that they are. It's very hard. And even for a person like me, I was adopted into the same race family. You don't have that genetic mirroring. Do you know about genetic mirroring? Okay, I'll tell you about it. Genetic mirroring is like when you have characteristics of people in your family. Sometimes you'll hear, oh, she laughs like Aunt so and so, or she has her grandmother's smile. I saw it in action the first time I saw my husband and his father together. They had the same walk, they had the same laugh, the same cadence in their voice. And those are things that as an adoptee, you don't have. You will have many members of your family and you won't look like any of them. No one will have your eyes, no one will have your smile, and no one will have whatever quirky personality. You will never know where that comes from. And those are things that make you feel bonded to your family. They're the stories that you hear growing up. Oh, you look like your grandmother or your whoever. But we don't have those stories and we don't have those bonding moments.
Hmm. That's right. That's very interesting. That's so true. Um, so we have a boy and a girl, and yeah, there's a lot of traits that I see in the both of them that especially physically, of course, that I'm like, yeah, like they're so different from my natural birth children. Um, Coming from the foster system, I also know that, they've had, just other issues with their birth parents that were not very positive for them.
Mhm.
Um,
Yes.
and we actually got them when they were older. Um, my mother-in-law adopted them when they were brand new babies.
Mhm.
Um, but still, it's like they're still very different from her sons.
Mhm.
And then we kind of started taking care of them when they were around 8 years old, and that was very difficult too because we converted to Judaism, and we raised I homeschooled them, and I'm also Asian, and so I have very specific ways of doing things, that I
Mhm.
got from my mother, and also from my genes, I guess. Um, I try to relate to them in terms of preferences,
Mhm.
and when I can, also personality. Um, and I realize sometimes my birth children don't understand why they do things or why they say things, and I just kind of try to sometimes just defend, like
Mhm.
like she has the right to say that or believe that way or, feel that way, and things like that. And also they have, so the boy he has European background, um, and he was, or his family was Seventh-day Adventist, which is the same religion as my husband's mother. And the girl is from Native American descent, and so you know, she especially tries to really embrace that being Native American, even though there's not really, a lot in our family life that says that, but she tries to talk about her tribe and research that kind of thing. And I really try to encourage that. But, I know that you talk about some 7 core issues of
Yes.
adoption. So I'm
Yes.
wondering if you can explain what those are and how they could impact an adoptee's life.
Right, right. Well, first one is loss, and the loss is everywhere. The birth mother obviously is losing a baby. A lot of adoptive parents, they have lost because the reason why they're adopting is because of infertility. So they've lost the dream of raising their own biological child. And then, of course, the child has lost. It's lost not only a birth mother, but a birth family, aunts, uncles, extended family, culture, like you were saying with your daughter. Wanting to know her tribe and being Native American, that's beautiful because that's who she is. And that's one of the things that I try to tell adoptive parents is that if you can connect them to who they are, who they genetically are, like in the case of being a Native American, if you can connect them some way to that, that gives them such a sense of belonging, a sense of pride, and it helps with their identity issues. Like we were talking before with transracial and trans-country adoptions, a lot of these children have lost language, culture, even the country that they were born in. So that's a lot of things to adjust to. Um, One of the other ones is intimacy. And when your beginning life comes from rejection and being relinquished, intimacy is a hard thing. It's hard to trust again. It's very hard not to push people away. And so relationships, especially when they become real personal, a lot of adoptees tend to just push away. I would rather reject you before you reject me. So intimacy and relationships are really hard for adoptees. We spoke on identity for all of those reasons. Grief is one of them. You're grieving the loss of a family that you don't know. A lot of adoptees make up who they think that their birth family is, and they create a whole story and scenario around this imaginary figure because when you don't have real information, a child's going to fill it in with fantasy. And so they grieve this fantasy person who they've made up in their mind because they don't have real facts. And like with a lot of adoptions, there's a lot of shame and guilt. The guilt comes from what did I do that my mother rejected me? Or the shame is just telling people that they were adopted. When I was in the 3rd grade, my sister went to the same school that I did, and there was a little girl there that came up to me and said, "You don't look anything like your sister." And, I'm in the 3rd grade. I'm like, "Well, of course not. I'm adopted." And she got very serious and quiet, and she said, "I am so sorry no one wanted you." And for me, 3rd grader, I was devastated. And I just stood there thinking, I need to be ashamed of telling people I'm adopted now. And I don't think I told anyone for probably 10 years or more after that that I was adopted. It just was one of those things. But when you have a lot of secrecy around things, and adoption has a lot of secrecy around it, many adoptees like myself don't have an original birth certificate. Some adoptees, even their names were changed and don't even have their original names. And I've even known adoptees not to find out that they were adopted until they were adults. So just imagine that.
Yeah. So you brought up a lot of interesting points that I wanted to comment on. First of all, that's so crazy to think that an adopted child was not wanted. They were actually, my opinion, they were wanted by everyone. Their birth, I mean, not in every case, but in the case of, of our children, they were wanted by their birth parents. They just they were taken away.
Right.
But they wanted them. They absolutely wanted them. And then my husband's mother wanted them. She foster cared for them for a while, and she's like, I don't want to let them go. I want to keep them. They were very wanted. And then for us, it wasn't like she was it wasn't like she was offering them to us. We were like, hey, we kind of feel like, we need to step in early. Like, we want to help you now. We want to help these children now to give them the best advantage in their life, And so we're like, we wanted to help them. So they're like triply wanted, in our case, at least. And so, yeah, just to flip that around. And then also, I was wondering, what do you think? Oh, another thing I wanted to comment on is, one of the children, he does not have his original birth certificate, and the reason why is because the father was actually very upset about everything that happened, and my husband's mother didn't feel safe, so she wanted to, kind of protect herself and do it for that reason. But we are in touch with his birth family, not exactly the parents, but the grandmother, who is in touch with the father. And like, he gets pictures and, gifts and stuff like that from them. So, but in the Philippines, where I come from, adopted children, oftentimes they're not told that they're adopted. And I was told by my mother that because they don't want them to know, because then there's this fear that they will leave their adopted family and for their birth family, and so they try to just hide it from them. And in the Philippines, everyone's Filipino. It's a lot easier to kind of hide, that, especially if you don't have children, or if you're like, your children all look kind of different anyways. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think with DNA and all of the 23andMe and Ancestry and Heritage out there, that the chances of someone putting DNA out there and finding out that they're adopted is huge. I know I'm what's considered a baby scoop era adoptee, where that was from the end of World War II through the mid 70s. And that was all surrounded with secrecy. The birth mothers were sent away to maybe maternity homes or to an aunt or someone, and then they'd come back and there was no baby and no talk about a pregnancy, and everything was very much hidden. And these mothers were told that no one will ever find you. Once they're adopted, it's closed, the records are closed. And that's the way adoption was done for many years. But now there's DNA, and you can find out that you are not related to someone. And that's how many people have found out who their birth family is, or even that they were adopted. They threw their DNA out there just because they wanted to see maybe what the genetic makeup was heritage wise, to see that, and then come find out, My brother and I are not a DNA match. I've seen that. And so that, the secrecy now can be found out. These people that are not telling, I don't know about in the Philippines, whether or not the DNA is out there the way it is in the United States, but everybody is really into their genealogy and want to find things out. And so DNA is out there.
Yeah, the Philippines very much looks up to America. So whatever America's doing, they want to be doing the same.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think it's really important to not breach trust by hiding that. I mean, I'm all into, I would rather my children learn about any topic from me first than
Right.
their friends or mainstream media, or at least if they do learn about it, or they are hinted about it from other sources, that I'm very open, willing and open to talk about it with them, because I do want to be understood by them as a trustworthy
Yes.
resource in their life that is going to give them everything that they need and want, as far as my ability goes.
Hmm.
So
Yes,
yeah,
that would be a big breach of trust if later in life you found out you were adopted and that information was held from you. You would have a hard time trusting your family.
right.
Hmm.
So I another thing I wanted to ask you is I have a lot of mixed feelings about one of the children's communication with their birth family,
Hmm.
because they're not they have issues,
Hmm.
and I kind of don't want him to identify with them as much, you know what I
Hmm.
mean, and feel like that's me, not this, you know what I mean.
Right.
um so I don't know, well, how what could you say about that?
Well, I think it's really important that they know the good, the bad, and the ugly. It helps them process maybe why they are in the situation of being adopted. And like you said, that they were wanted, but they were taken away. And, that's another thing to process. And also, they need to know that just because their parents or birth parents made these choices, those aren't the choices they have to make. That doesn't define them and who they are. But like I was saying before, people like fill in the blanks. If they don't know the truth, they will fill it in with fantasy. And so it's better for them to know this is why you were taken away. These are the things, and maybe have to limit communication. But just knowing who their birth parents are, or maybe the grandparents, whoever they could safely have communication with, I think would be helpful. And if not communication, at least the knowledge of what went on, and be as truthful as you can age appropriately.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to,
Right.
I think, balance that line.
Right. You have to keep them safe. That is, the most important thing. And they need to know that these people whom they may have a relationship with, their birth family, they may be doing things that your family doesn't approve of, and that you have your own set of rules and values. And I know that's hard. And especially, I see it with people who come from foster care where they might have been in several homes. And so there's several people that these children may want to still have in their life. I used to be a foster parent. I'm a grandparent to an adopted daughter and a couple of foster kids. And so, we're still living it. We
Mm.
still see all of the ramifications of parents' bad choices. And it's sad for the children, but it's also important that they know the truth as much as age appropriate. And they have to also be told that that doesn't have to be their outcome. They can make better choices.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I converted to Judaism, which I talk about a lot on my show, and I like that the experience of conversion is, I feel, very much like the adoption process as well, because I wouldn't say I've lost my culture, but I have adopted a very uh, new culture that I didn't grow up with,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a little bit of a loss, of my old culture, my old. It's not like I don't keep in touch with my old family, but I'm just different, right? From
Mm-hmm.
the rest of them. But I was very happy because when my children, because I tried to, cook some Asian food and I remind them that, oh, we're like this because I'm Asian, I'd say little things like that. And I try to teach them some values that I learned from
Mm-hmm.
my Asian background. But when we asked them, some friends, we were all talking about, we were asking our children, how do you identify? They're
Mm-hmm.
like, do I identify as a Filipino? Do you identify as Mexican? Do you
Mm-hmm.
identify as white? Because my husband is white and Mexican. Do you identify as an American, a Texan, a Californian? Because we moved from California to Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, I identify as a Jew. I was like, oh, really? Like a Filipino Jew? So how about these other things? They're like, well,
Right.
I guess, but I mostly identify just like as a Jew. Like I don't know much about anything else, but I know a lot about being a Jew. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of like how, I feel like that's like adoption, like you understand these other things that
Mm-hmm.
make you, but your current life and environment and how you grew up, that is your main, hopefully, I would say, what would be my hope, anyways, my wish is that's your main identity. Not forgetting who you were, but also embracing who you are, not having regrets about it,
Mm-hmm.
just fully embracing that you are exactly where you should be, in
Right.
life.
Yes, I agree. And I too converted to Judaism. And so one of the things that I always think about is that it's my journey, and even though I'm a Jew now and I've completed my conversion, there was a time that I was something else, but that was all part of my journey to who I am today. And really, it's the same concept that I try to tell my adoptee clients is that to embrace the whole thing. It's who you are. It's what made you strong. It's what made you resilient. It's given you all the values that you have to integrate and embrace the entire package.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here and talking about this very important subject. It's been too long. I should have had you sooner. This is a great conversation. But would you like to just share any closing thoughts before? Oh, wait, hold on one second. I want to first talk about like how to get a hold of you and things like that. So what's the best way if someone and you work with like the whole spectrum, right? You work with adopted children and adults. You work with the parents, the adopted parents, and also birth parents, right?
Yes, I don't work directly with children. I like for them to be at
Adults,
least, yeah,
adopted adults.
adults. But yes, the entire triad. And yes, I work with the parents to help them with their children. I will support birth mothers and whatever their decision making. And also I work with the adoptee also. Yes.
Okay, awesome. And what's the best way to get a hold of you? And what do you offer in your services, in your coaching services?
I offer one-on-one coaching. I periodically have courses that I'll do online, a several-day course. I'm right in the middle of creating a digital course that can be taken. It's video. You can take it on your own time frame. My goal is to have that out by Thanksgiving, but don't hold me there. But for sure by the first of the year, because I've had a lot of people say that the time frame is hard for them to commit to 3 nights or whatever my live courses are. So finding me on my website, you can connect with me there. You can schedule a free consultation where we can talk about what one-on-one coaching will look like for you and what you're interested in. But I just love to connect with adoptees and the birth parents and adoptive parents. And also, I'm very vocal on education and awareness of adoption.
So you do speaking, public speaking and
Yes,
things like
I've been
that.
on several podcasts, and I will speak at any group that needs to know more about adoption. I have some free resources that you're showing online here, and the one-on-one coaching packages also.
Okay, awesome. So this is your website, hadassahbauer.com. And yeah, there's a lot on there that you offer, I see. And then
Yes,
you've
I
got,
also write a blog, so there's a lot of free stuff on there on my blog where you can connect to my thoughts at the moment, and I try to put things out there. Here's one that you're showing right now about the holidays and how difficult holidays can be for adoptees. And so there's just a lot of information on my blog.
mhm. And then we've also got, you've got a Facebook, this is your Facebook page, right?
Yes, I'm on Facebook, I am on Instagram, uh, Twitter, TikTok, Substack. I think that's it. I'm
And
on
do you put
all
the
of
same, you
them.
put the same blog on Substack, right?
Yes, Substack has my same blog. Yes.
All right, awesome. Oh, and then you've also got a book,
Yes, I
right?
have a journal. It's a great way to just start with some introspective work if you're an adoptee. This one is specifically for adoptees. I'm hoping to get one for adoptive parents to work through also and birth parents, but this is my first one. And it's full of journal prompts and it's set up as like chapters. There's a little section on inner child work, on identity. I'm really just working through your entire adoption story.
Okay, awesome. Now, do you think this would be appropriate for starting at what age?
Teenagers,
Okay,
I think teenagers definitely could handle it.
so 13 is good.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And you don't need to have any prior journaling experience. I write a little thing in the beginning about how to start a journal practice. And so you can be a brand new journaling person and still get a lot of benefit from this.
Okay, awesome. That sounds really good. You've got a lot of resources to help people there. Well, thank you so much for your time. And before we go, do you have just any closing thoughts for everyone?
Yes, I would just say that if you're an adoptee or a birth mother or an adoptive mother, that to reach out to people. And if you're struggling, if you need connection, there are so many groups online. There's birth mother groups, there's adoption groups, and there's adoptee groups. I happen to run one on Facebook. It's called Adoptee Healing Hub. I don't think I gave you that, but people can find it on Facebook. But there's so many things out there, and you just don't have to do this alone. There is support, and there's just nothing like another person who understands what you've been through and what you're going through. So I just say reach out.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything that you do to help people.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on here and for just bringing the awareness of all the issues of adoption. I really appreciate it. And I think it's so nice that we share this connection in adoption. And I really enjoyed this so much.
Me
Thank you.
too. Shalom.
Shalom.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashley Algar and I am the host of Expertise TV, and I'm very excited to be introducing you to our guest today, Mayim Vega. Now, Mayim Vega is a former NASA computer scientist turned holistic healer after facing a very personal health crisis, which the modern medical system could not resolve. In 2009, she founded Arukah.com, which offers an holistic healer certification program focusing on three pillars: naturopathic herbalism, holistic life coaching, and online business and marketing to empower people to become holistic healers and achieve maximum impact in the world. Mayim combines her scientific background, natural healing methods, and faith in the creator and great physician to guide others on a path to personal and professional well-being. Mayim, it's clear that you are very passionate about the topic of holistic health and particularly helping people who are wanting to transition into this approach. How did you find yourself in this line of work, and why is this work so important to you?
Thank you, Ashley, for taking the time to speak with me. And I'd love to answer that question. So, the way I found myself in this line of work starts with my story of when I transitioned from becoming a computer scientist at the NASA Ames Research Center to becoming an entrepreneur and building my first online business in digital marketing. And the reason why I did that is so that I could stay at home and be with my newly born son at the time. And now I have 7 children of my own, and I always wanted to homeschool them and just be there for them. And so that's why I became an entrepreneur. But my first few years as an entrepreneur was extremely difficult. And I thought it was healthy, but later on, after all my studies, I realized there were a lot of things that I was doing that was not very healthy. They were not very healthy habits that I had. And what ended up happening was I got really sick and I thought I was on my deathbed. And I was rushed to the emergency room. And the doctor actually thought that I had a brain tumor. But after extensive testing and examination, she told me that there was nothing wrong with me. I was experiencing a lot of pain, but they had nothing for me. There was nothing they could do for me. She said that she could give me some really strong painkillers, but that's really it. She couldn't really get rid of the problem. And so I took the painkillers, but again, painkillers and any pharmaceutical drug never address the root cause of illness and disease. And that's exactly why this line of work is so important to me and why I went on my own personal journey to become a holistic healer, to study nutrition, herbalism, holistic health, and holistic life coaching, is because we all know people, and maybe probably even ourselves, who, just like me, went to the modern medical system because that's the expected thing to do. That's a normal thing to do. And, tried to get health and healing that way, but hit a dead end, hit a brick wall, and we either got medications that didn't work or that only worked for a while or that caused side effects that were so terrible that we had to get on other medications, plural, and maybe even the medication or medications caused side effects that caused other health issues. And sometimes the health issues are worse than the first problem that you originally had. And we're on this ridiculous roller coaster of drug after treatment after procedure because the modern medical system never addresses the root cause. And medical professionals who have woken up know this. And that's why I have medical professionals in my program, including, doctors, nurses, nurse practitioners, medical technicians, etc., who are learning from me, who are, taking the certification program because they realize that our system is broken and we need to fix it. It is our destiny as humanity to overcome all all this nonsense, really. We can do better, and we will do better. I know it. And that's why, in my certification program, sometimes I joke around. No, it's not really a joke, but I say, I'm empowering not just holistic healers, but holistic warriors. We're in a battle. We're in a battle over our own health and healing to safeguard and protect that, and that of our families and friends and community, of course, as well. And we're also in a battle against very powerful people who, because of profits, like to suppress holistic health and healing truths to keep us just sick enough so that we need something, pharmaceuticals, but not well enough to ever get off them. That is truly the goal of big pharma, of the pharmaceutical industry. It's not true. They don't want to heal us. They don't want to cure us. They want to keep us just sick enough so that we keep giving them our money. And you know what? Me personally, I have better things to spend with my money, like on good food, clean herbs, things that don't cause these ridiculous side effects that we experience with pharmaceutical drugs.
Thank you, Mayim. So that brings me to my next question. What are some of the key benefits of transitioning from the conventional healing approach to a holistic approach in health and healing?
Okay, so that's another really great and important question. The key benefits of transitioning from conventional healing to a holistic approach are, right now, I can think of three main reasons. Number one, the holistic approach is safer. Number two, the holistic approach is more effective. And number three, the holistic approach is the true approach that gets to the root cause. Okay. Now, I'd like to illustrate the first point, the safety of holistic medicine. If someone who was taking some, let's say blood pressure medication or something like that, visited me at my house, let's say I invited them over for dinner, and let's say they had to take some of their medicine and they dropped one of their pills, right, in my dining room or in my living room floor. Now, I have very small children. I have a 4-year-old. And what if my 4-year-old found that pill on the floor and thought it was candy or something like that and put it in her mouth and ate it? What would happen? I would immediately have to call the poison control center to get that pill out of her system, because those pills can have deadly side effects. But what if someone dropped a vitamin C pill or a tincture, and one of my children found it? For the most part, if they found it and took it, they might have a little diarrhea. It might be really spicy on their tongue, and so they would stop taking it. But no, I wouldn't have to control the poison control center, because vitamins and herbs and minerals are extremely, like 1,000 times safer than pharmaceutical drugs. There's a few types of, supplements that you might have to call the poison control center, but for the most part, no, you won't have to do that, because our body knows how to work with those substances. It is not a drug. It is a healing tool. Okay. So completely safe. Also, exercise, diet, those are all safe, right? Sleep, those are all part of holistic health and healing. Completely safe, zero side effects. Now, let's talk about the effectiveness. The holistic approach is more effective. And the reason why we know this is because in my practice, and this is the experience of many holistic healers, when it comes to the conventional ways with the pharmaceutical drugs, as I said before, they don't deal with the root cause. They just mask symptoms. So, you might take a cough suppressant, let's say, for example, but if you are not dealing with the root cause, why are you coughing in the first place? Why do you have allergies? Why do you have the flu? etc. Why is your immune system not strong enough to overcome this in just a few hours or just a day or two overnight? Why? Because you have not built up your immune system. You haven't boosted it or lived the kind of life that you need to in order to avoid those common illnesses altogether. I have one of my students is a medical doctor, and she said that she used to take anti-allergy drugs every single week because of her allergies. The allergy drugs don't boost your immune system; they just suppress it. They just oppress your allergy symptoms. But when you have allergy symptoms, it's your body talking to you and telling you, hey, I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this thing that you're eating or this environment that you've just stepped into because of my state of being. I'm not strong enough. That's what your immune system is saying to you. But I taught her a really powerful vitamin protocol that actually boosts your immune system so that your immune system is strong enough to overcome allergies. And so that's the difference. It is effective because it is true. It is true holistic health and healing because it strengthens your immune system. It doesn't silence it, like I said before. And the third issue is the root cause. Holistic health and healing deals with the root cause, and the conventional approach of drugs and surgery, etc., does not. That doesn't mean that you sometimes don't need surgery, for example, or in an emergency situation need a drug, but you're not dealing with the root cause. And if you deal with the root cause, you can make your problems either go away or become extremely minimal, safely, effectively, and naturally without poisoning your body and causing the roller coaster of side effects.
Mayim, you have developed an incredible program that you've already mentioned called the Arukah Holistic Healer Certification Program, which you have specifically created for those looking to either transition into the holistic approach or for those who are wanting to grow in their knowledge and practice. Can you talk us through what differentiates this program from other similar programs that are currently out there?
Thank you, Ashley. Yes, the certification program at arukah.com is really, truly incredible. And there's a few things that set it apart, actually, many things, but I'd like to focus on a few. And one of them is that when I designed the program, I designed it for someone who was in my situation many years ago, someone who was a busy mom who had a lot of work to do and a lot of things on her plate, but still wanted to empower herself with the knowledge of holistic health and healing for herself, for her family, so she could take care of her family, and maybe even build a career where, very specifically, she could stay at home and, just like me, be a stay-at-home mom. And, even a homeschool mom. I've been a homeschool mom. My oldest is 20 now, and I homeschooled him the whole way. And he's already graduated college, and he's got a computer science degree, and he's an entrepreneur himself. I instilled that dream in him. So being able to, I was able to surpass my income at NASA, and still homeschool my children. It's pretty awesome achievement. And so I wanted to empower people in my program to do exactly the same as I've done, to become a holistic healer, to have a successful online business so that they can have time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom, meaning that there's no glass ceiling. No one who you need to get a raise from. You just have to help people. That's how I get paid, is when I help people, right? And so that's one of the advantages. Another advantage is it's very hands-on and apprenticeship based. And you could go to a college to study to become a naturopathic doctor, or another holistic professional like a chiropractor. But it's going to take a lot more money, a lot more money, and a lot more time as well. This program can be completed in 1 year, but because all of my students pretty much are busy professionals already, or busy moms, it's self-paced. So if you have a lot of things on your plate, it's okay. It's still going to be there for you. There's not like a time limit. You're not going to, your grade's not going to be lowered because you submit an assignment late or anything like that. It's self-paced. And so I've designed it for the busy mom or the working woman. And another thing that sets it apart is we have three core pillars in our program. One is that our students study naturopathic herbalism. And that takes up the bulk of our program. And naturopathic herbalism includes studying the foundations of holistic health and healing, identifying toxins and detoxification, also nutrition and orthomolecular nutrition or megadose vitamin therapy, as well as herbalism, which includes also homeopathy and aromatherapy with essential oils. And also they study Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine. But it's mostly focused on Western medicine, Western herbalism, excuse me. And then the next core pillar, the second one, is holistic life coaching. And the reason why holistic life coaching is part of the program is to incorporate the mind spirit aspect of it, right? If herbs and supplements are the alternative to pharmaceutical drugs, well, holistic life coaching is like the holistic alternative to psychiatry. It deals with the mind and the spirit, and spirit has to be part of it because we are spiritual beings. We're not just physical beings. We're also spiritual beings. Now, a lot of holistic health and healing schools are based on different religions, New Age, or other pagan religions. And this program, because I'm Jewish, is based on the Creator. It's based on the Bible and biblical principles, Judeo-Christian principles. And so therefore I have a lot of people who are of that faith persuasion, Jews, Christians, or people who maybe, they don't really identify as Jewish or Christian, but they're open to it, or they grew up in that faith, and they don't necessarily want all the new age spirituality. They want the kind of spirituality that they are comfortable with and used to. That's another thing that sets us apart. And life coaching is all about mindset and how to have healthy relationships with yourself, with others. Of course, also, with food and your body and lifestyle. Holistic life coaching encompasses all of that. And it's a very important part of holistic health and healing, especially because stress is often the root cause of many illnesses, common illnesses, and also chronic diseases. So, that mind and spirit aspect is very important. And the third aspect is online business marketing. And again, the reason why that's important is because, as I told you, I really want my students to thrive and to be able to, have that time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom, which an online business provides. But also because, there's not a lot of jobs for herbalists, or life coaches even. And so we really have to be entrepreneurial. And it's very, very rewarding. And because of my background, with my digital marketing business, my first business, I can really help people in that department.
Thanks so much, Mayim. So I love the power of testimony and hearing people's personal experiences or journeys. Can you share some of the success stories that might be coming to mind or testimonials from past students?
Yes, we certainly have a lot of success stories and testimonials, and we'll show some of those testimonials at the end of our talk today in this video. But I could talk about a few of them that are maybe recent. One of them is one of my students. She told me that she wanted to become a nutritionist, but I guess her life's journey didn't really allow for that. So when she heard about my program, my certification program, when it first launched, she joined, and she really wanted to help her husband, who had been suffering from colitis under the care of doctors for about 20 years, ever since he was in the military. And he was going from medication to medication, and suffering with diarrhea and insomnia and restless legs and indigestion, and all these terrible things that colitis can cause. And so I actually created a custom module for her to help her husband with that. And in 2 months, she helped her husband get off the medication and heal from colitis using food and herbs and natural holistic healing methods. So that was a great accomplishment for her. And I get people, contacting me saying that I helped them grow their hair back, or actually someone said, "Oh, you helped save you helped save a little girl's life." Just beautiful, wonderful things like that. You helped me heal my daughter. You helped me grow, um, regrow my teeth so I don't have pain from cavities anymore. Like just all these wonderful testimonies. And that's the reason why I love doing what I do. And and you will too, if you join the program. It's so rewarding and fulfilling to understand and to know that you are helping people, truly helping people in ways that they can't get in the modern medical system. It's so rewarding.
Incredible. Thank you so much for sharing that, Mayim. I can only imagine the sense of reward when people start applying these principles to their lives and actually see a change and transformation. And for somebody as passionate as you are around this topic, to witness that and to be a part of that, I imagine that the reward is priceless. So another common question that arises is, once someone completes the program, what are some of the practical steps one would take in order to start a successful career in holistic health?
Okay, that's a great question. And that's actually what the third pillar of our program is all about, is, what do you do? Practical steps on what you would do to start a successful career in holistic health. And in that program, we teach our students how to create a high ticket transformational health coaching program that really helps people deal with a serious a problem, a serious health issue. And that doesn't mean that it's a deadly, problem, but it can be something that really affects their life, right? Even skin disorders can really affect your life, right? Even though it's not necessarily deadly. Weight loss could be something that is dealing with a serious issue. There's so many different types of health coaching programs that one can make, anxiety, depression, hormonal issues, etc. So they build, it's part of the program. They will do this while they're still in the program, and we'll support them the whole way, is to build that first high ticket health coaching program, and then set up their online assets, such as their website, their social media, a video sales letter, press releases, podcasts, all those things that online entrepreneurs need in order to connect with people, get their message of health and healing out there, and build and grow and scale their business.
Thank you so much, Mayim. It's been so great talking with you today. But before we close, for those that would like to get started on the journey to becoming an holistic healer and wanting to learn a little bit more about the certification program, how do they go about contacting you?
Yes, it's been wonderful talking to you today as well. And for all those who would like to get started on their journey to become a holistic healer, and learn more about the certification program, all they need to do is visit the website, www.arukah.com, ARUKAH.com, and dig into that and schedule a discovery call. And I would love to be your mentor, your health coach, your teacher in guiding you to become a holistic healer, to become the healer of your home and your family and your community, and to help you build a profitable online health coaching business.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Mayim. So there we have it, folks. If you are ready to move forward in your own journey of becoming a holistic healer, then you can visit the website at www.arukah.com, where you can schedule your first discovery call. Thanks so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure.